Thanks for joining us here on Arc Salt Lake. I'm Brian Schnee. Monday, September 29th. Tonight we're going in depth on the violent attack on a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints meeting house in Michigan. Told you all about this over the course of the last couple of days, where an ex-Marine opened fire. It set the building ablaze during a crowded Sunday service. We'll also be asking local leaders how members will be protected during the biannual General Conference, which gets underway this Saturday in Salt Lake. And before we do, we need to check in on today's weather, just kind of what we've been seeing. Foliage, or foliage, or foliage, depending on where you're from. I don't know which way is actually correct anymore because people just don't say it the right way. Sean, there's a lot of it out there. Whatever it is out there.
Hey, it's okay. Whatever you want to do, however you want to say it, just get outside and enjoy it, because man, oh man, are these trees bursting with colors here. I mean, look at this. Up in Fairview, absolutely wonderful conditions up there right now. We're actually nearing the peak, if not even slightly past the peak, in some of those really high elevation areas, including across portions of the Wasatch Mountains. So the next 7 to 14 days really going to be the best time to get out there, from right now through the next week and a half to 2 weeks at most, I would say. So if you are going to be driving tomorrow, I would hold off, because tomorrow is going to be the rainiest day of the next several days. Wednesday and Thursday, though, it's going to be a great drive up there with plenty of sunshine and comfortable conditions. We're into the 70s right now. It's a gorgeous start to the week here. We've got a mix of sun and clouds out there. Temperatures as we head through the evening, pretty comfortable, not too chilly here. We've got some 60s, but we've got some big changes tomorrow. Cooler weather, a cold front, and look at that, an 80% chance of rain. We'll let you know when we'll see the heaviest and how much rain we could see. Coming up, my first alert weather forecast.
And then we heard a big bang and it blew the doors in the church, and then everything after that was chaos.
Well, authorities are still combing through debris following a church attack in Michigan that left at least 4 people dead, 8 others injured, and part of the church ruined. The gunman deceased and the motive remains unknown as federal officials investigate the incident as a targeted attack. The attack there occurred just before 10:30 a.m. Sunday, while hundreds of people in the building seemed to be enjoying what would be a normal Sunday service. Police identified 40-year-old Thomas Jacob Sanford as the man who drove his vehicle through the front doors of the church and fired multiple rounds from a rifle during the church service. He also appeared to use gasoline to set the church on fire. The Pentagon lists Sanford as an Iraq War veteran who deployed for several months during 2007 and 2008. Sanford lived in Park City for more than a decade before moving out of the state in 2021. Chris Johns is running for city council in Burton, Michigan, and says he met Sanford last week while he was campaigning. Johns says Sanford had anger towards the church.
He did make the statement that Mormons are the Antichrist, which is a shocking statement. And again, this is somebody you're just meeting for the first time. There was anger. I mean, it was a long-standing anger that I'm speculating, but what he did took planning. It also took real motivation and real anger to ultimately do what he did.
We have an active shooter of the church, and PD's on scene saying the building is also on fire.
I need manpower up here ASAP. I have people trapped in the building. Repeat, people trapped in the building.
I need help in here, please. Computer, I need help in here.
Hard to hear knowing exactly what took place as we learn more information. Yesterday's attack in Michigan actually marks the second shooting at American Church in just over a month, sparking questions about whether houses of worship need stronger security measures. We spoke with Luis Rudisell, who launched his Sheepdog Ministry security company after seeing a rise in attacks against religious communities. He says even simple, low-cost steps can deter a potential attack.
Just because you're separated by states doesn't mean it cannot happen in your community. Something that we encourage people to do, churches to do, is if there's an incident, a minor security incident, let people in your community know, other churches in your community. For example, before we moved out here, we had a email communication, a text message communication with several churches in our area, because what we're finding is the problem, people would visit one church, overstay their welcome, and then we'll move on to the next church. So this way we were made aware of potential problems. To your point, it happened in Michigan, but it affects everybody because that is just in today's social media and 24-hour news cycle, everybody becomes aware of it. And then you have the copycat where somebody sees it on television and they want to copy what they saw.
The 195th Semi-Annual General Conference of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints starts this Saturday at 10 a.m. Millions of members all over the world watch the global broadcast, and thousands will attend the sessions live here in Salt Lake City. Now, the conference center is truly a feat of engineering. It contains a 21,000-seat auditorium featuring a nearly 8,000 pipe organ. The building was completed in 2000, so Salt Lake Police has done this exact event twice a year for 25 years. But with the recent violence, both in and out of religious buildings, we asked Salt Lake PD what is being done to prepare.
So this is an event that we do a couple times a year. We prepare for it in advance quite a bit. It's something that we try to determine every possible contingency going into these events. We prepare for different possibilities, and we try and put resources in place that will help ensure this event continues to go off safely. So safety is our number one priority with any major event, but with General Conference, we've got lots and lots of people coming into the city. We've got a lot of people that will then be in town, in the peripheral areas. But when this is actually going off, we have a lot of pieces in place, and you will see an increased police presence in the downtown area around this event.
The Utah House Democrats released a statement about Sunday's violence at the church in Michigan. It reads in part, quote, "Members of the House Minority Caucus are mourning the lives lost in the tragic shooting in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan. We condemn any violence of any kind, but especially when it occurs in a sacred space. We firmly believe that everyone deserves to feel safe in their places of worship." Now, seasoned Utahns know these two here, the hit morning show Mikey and the Missus, broadcasting from B92.1 in southern Utah, is hosted by Mikey and Bonnie Foley. The married couple brings a fun twist to the radio in the mornings and on social media, best known for poking fun at their own membership within the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Where are we going here? Well, Mikey is from Michigan and went to the building that is now destroyed for most of his childhood. Take a listen.
That was our church growing up in Michigan. Of course, being LDS in Michigan means you're very alone. And my brother and I were the only, Mormons in the school district, and that was our stake center. See a wall in the gymnasium that I used to lean up against to avoid girls at a stake dance. I have all of these memories there, and to think that those people who didn't deserve anything, this would happen. They didn't know this guy. He didn't know them. It is just awful.
We'll have more from Mikey tonight on 2 News at 10 o'clock. Now, earlier today, the president of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, Dallin H. Oaks, sent a statement on the deadly shooting, saying in part, quote, "We mourn with our members who have lost loved ones, and we join in prayer for comfort with others around the world who are suffering from similar tragedies." The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints just announced a list of events honoring President Russell M. Nelson following his passing over the weekend. Now, this Wednesday, a broadcast tribute will take place with several church leaders. The Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square will also honor the life of President Nelson. Next Monday, a public viewing will be held in the conference center from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. A week from tomorrow, the funeral will be held in the conference center. The funeral is open to the public. Seating will be open on a first-come, first-served basis. A private burial service will take place following the funeral. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, a new Utah Jazz season begins. Next week with preseason, we'll discuss what Coach Will Hardy is expecting from his team with our own Dave Fox. Well, the Utah Jazz getting ready for a new season. Earlier today, the team holding Media Day to introduce a few of the players and hear from Jazz leadership. Coach Will Hardy says the team is not waiting for a savior. The team is young and hungry.
I've seen a lot, I've done a lot in this league, and I think as far as being a vet and imparting wisdom, knowing to keep it light, getting through to guys, being curious about other guys as well, what makes them tick and how I can get the best out of them. That's where I think I can also help in a very big way, just being in my 18th season.
Oh, that is not Will Hardy. That is Kevin Love, who
But
apparently
Kevin Love's
knows
he's
Will
almost
Hardy
as old
very
as
well,
Will Hardy,
right?
by
Kind
the
of
way.
weird dynamic
Yeah,
there.
he's almost as old as
You
Will
and I
Hardy.
are almost the same age too, so
Yeah.
I could see the confusion.
Yeah, I'm way younger than you.
Dave Fox doesn't need much of an
Hi.
introduction, but he's here. Media Day, it's kind of the pomp and circumstance.
Yeah.
Roll everyone out. Let's ask a few questions. What was the temperature like
Well,
today?
first of all, it was a long day.
Yeah.
So Adam Mikulich and Hu Tran went over to cover it for us. Started at 8 a.m. when Ryan Smith and then Austin Age spoke, and then Will Hardy. And then get this. What did they do? They brought us every player. Every player, one right after another, and they just went through and interviewed every one of them. So, it's an interesting vibe. We were going to run a soundbite from head coach Will Hardy, and he says in the soundbite, hey, no one's going to come through this door and save you guys. You have got to get it done. Basically saying that they're putting this team on them. Now, Brian, that doesn't mean they have to make it to the playoffs this year. That just means the development starts today. Last year, they had a lot more veterans that are now gone, like take Jordan Clarkson, for instance. And so they just would magically sit them throughout the season. Well, now they don't have to do that. You just play all the young players every chance you get and see how they develop.
So if playoffs are obviously not maybe the achievable goal, what is maybe the goal out of this year?
To get a #1 pick.
Okay. Once again, we get to go through this. Okay.
Well, but it's a different vibe. You asked about that word vibe. Okay. It's not where they're going into the season thinking we are going to tank like crazy to get that #1 pick. As the NBA proved, it doesn't matter if you have the worst record in the NBA because the #1 pick went to the team with the 11th worst record in the NBA. I think you're almost better off not being there. What they're doing now is they're developing their youth. They're saying to the team and maybe to the community in an indirect way, these are the guys that we think will one day take us to the promised land, with a few added pieces that will come in next year's draft and maybe the year after. Let's start that now. Last year, they really hadn't started that because there were still a number of veterans that needed minutes. And this year, they're throwing it all on the young guys.
You say young guy, but we obviously just heard from Kevin Love, who's not a young guy.
But he's not. He doesn't factor into this.
But what will he look like this year?
He'll look like a guy who's a locker room guy that teaches the kids about, what it means to carry yourself in the NBA, how to become a champion. The guy played with LeBron James, for heaven's sake. So
I know. That's what I'm saying.
He's been around.
That's a nice person to have there.
Well, you heard him say that. He understands that role. Now, Lowry's kind of in between. He's not that old. And by the way, between Lowry and Nurkic's salary, those two guys make more than the entire rest of the roster combined. And then you got a guy like Walker Kessler, by the way, restricted free agent at the end of the season. He's going to get paid. So I think the mix is really, really good right now, Brian. But it's a situation where they're so young, they may get another terrific draft pick, even in doing their very best because they're so young. And you know what? I think that's fine.
And I think they'll probably still sell out games.
Oh, that's the other
Once
thing.
again.
I can't wait to see the new building. I guess we get a peek at it tomorrow.
Very nice. Yeah, and some of the food, too.
Yeah.
You like food?
Oh, I love food.
That works out good.
In fact,
Dave
I'm gonna
Fox,
go eat
hey,
right
guess
now.
where we're going now? We're going to weather. Would you like to send things over to Sean?
Sean, what's going on? I'm looking at this picture. Well, it's not here now, but it looks beautiful outside. So I think I got this covered. Fantastic weather tonight, but I think there's something coming. Am I right?
Oh,
Am I right?
yeah. You want to do weather? That was fantastic.
Ski season.
No, I'm telling you,
Ski season's
something's
coming.
on the way, Sean.
Yeah, we've got some changes tomorrow, and yeah, we've got the fall colors that we continue to deal with right now. We're kind of right near the peak for all those leaves. We've got the bright oranges, the yellows for those aspen trees, but tomorrow, if you are planning to do any fall driving, I would hold off. I would hold off until Wednesday, certainly Thursday as well with some nicer weather because we've got a rainy Tuesday ahead of us and a nice drop in the temperatures and then even a stormy end to the weekend as we head into the weekend. 80 degrees though, that was our high temperature so far. 74 is normal, so today was an unseasonably warm, gorgeous day. You could see this evening we've got a little bit of a cloudier evening out there, but it's comfortable. We're into the 70s right now, up and down the Wasatch Front. Much nicer from 24 hours ago. We're 4 to 13 degrees warmer from 24 hours ago. 73 in Milford, 82 right now in St. George. No rain out there, nothing going on, but there's our storm moving in across portions of Nevada. Look at all that rain and lightning. That's going to be heading our way here through the next 24 hours. Starting early tomorrow morning for the morning commute, we're dry up and down the I-15 corridor, including here in the Salt Lake Valley, so you shouldn't have any impacts heading to work. However, if your commute finds you traveling along I-80 heading westward into the Wendover area, including into Nevada, into northeastern portions of Nevada and northwestern portions of Utah, that is where you will encounter some delays and slowdowns there. But the majority of the rain across the Wasatch Front will hold off until right around lunchtime. From about 10 a.m. through 2 p.m. is when we're expecting the heaviest rain here in the Salt Lake Valley. That continues on through 3, 4, 5 o'clock, but starting to shift out towards the east. Could see periods of heavy rain, some thunderstorms, some gusty winds, and then finally just isolated chances for rain here as we get closer towards the 9 p.m. with the bullseye of the rain up towards the north, but we'll see some isolated showers down across the southern half of the state with much nicer weather as we make our way into Wednesday. So generally picking up about 1/4 of an inch, I'd say on average. There'll be an isolated area that may get closer to about 1/2 an inch. But overall, again, a pretty nice rain storm heading our way, and a little bit of a flooding risk here, especially for those urban areas, including any areas that saw some of those wildfires over the summer, the burn scars. That will be an issue tomorrow, especially if we get too much of a heavy rain in a short amount of time. So we're into the 60s and 50s overnight. Highs tomorrow 10 degrees cooler than today. Stormy weather for much of the central and northern part of the state with some isolated showers and storms down towards the south. We've got the game day forecast for Friday. BYU, West Virginia, prime time temperatures there. Again, it'll be a little bit rainy as well, so be mindful of that. And we've got the general conference this weekend as well. Those temperatures into the 60s. Rainy, stormy for Saturday. St. George, you're looking at a pretty nice weekend ahead. Nice and cool and comfortable. 70s and 80s for Saturday and Sunday. Meanwhile, across the Wasatch Front, Wednesday and Thursday, that's the pick of the week here to get outside and enjoy it. Stormier weather returns Friday and Saturday. Look at that, 65 on Saturday, 66 on Sunday. So significantly cooler.
Like we're getting a nice drink on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So this time of year, we try to look to the high elevations and maybe get a glimpse of some light snow. Is that possible as the temperatures drop here? If there's moisture in the air here?
Saturday, high elevations, definitely the Uintas, perhaps some of the Cottonwood.
11,000 feet.
Yeah.
You know, it gets up there.
Exactly, and if you want to look at the day 15 forecast,
just what I was looking for. Yeah.
Way, heading actually towards
the middle of October. Do you have that graphic you can punch up for us?
I would never show this on air, but in the middle of October, there's some really cold storms that are beyond this. So it's just a good sign that the times are changing.
Sean Kelly's Almanac. There it is, the long term.
Very, very accurate almanac.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Sean. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, the first preseason game. The puck drop in here on Thursday for the Mammoth. There's just more than just action on the ice here. The long-awaited jersey launch is finally here. How cool. The jingle gets me fired up there from the organ. The Utah Mammoth preseason underway. The team's first preseason home game is this Thursday, 7 o'clock. It's also the first day that the new sweaters go on sale, jerseys to us normal people, and that'll go on sale to the public there on Thursday.
Yeah, that's right. The Mammoth's first regular season game is next Thursday, October 9th at the Colorado Avalanche. The first home game at the Delta Center is not until Wednesday, October 15th. When the Mammoth take on the Calgary Flames at 7:30.
And the normal people with sarcasm, by the way. So sticking to sports, Super Bowl 60, can't believe it, months away. We now know who's going to perform at the halftime show. How do you feel about this?
I gotta learn some Bad Bunny songs.
Yeah, I'll play some songs for you.
Three-time Grammy Award winner Bad Bunny will headline the Super Bowl halftime show. We'll see who else maybe is a guest appearance.
I mean, you never know who's going to pop up.
Yeah.
At those shows. So who knows? We'll see you tomorrow night.